This was ridiculous. They were trapped in the middle of traffic and it was driving them crazy as Ben had somewhere more important to be soon. And he called out asking what was causing the holdup, and a bunch of aliens busted out of the ground and began flying away. They'd caught the last one as his ship was too weighted down to fly properly, and called out asking what was going on, and the alien tells them that the incursions were coming. More ships fly away as a female cop calls out that aliens were living among them, and Ben tells her to shut up. They already knew that. Most of these people have seen Rook and other plumbers that he's worked with. This shouldn't be a surprise. This calmed the crowd as they started to speak among themselves in a dull roar before walking away. The next scene we get is the plumbers preparing for what's to come as Max says that it seems the rumors are true. There is an armada of super destroyers headed towards Earth, and Albedo says that's awesome because now he gets to fight too. Ben smacks him upside the back of the head, telling him this isn't a game and lots of people could get hurt or even die if they aren't careful. Because Ben had calmed the crowd before they started anything stupid, he didn't have to go play politics, which was something he always did hate doing, and instead was able to better help focus on the war efforts, though they still had to let the populace know what's going down exactly. They did have Ben do that as he has his speech translated to other languages. He tells them that there are only a select few aliens in which that would be a threat. If they see any aliens that do not appear as a part of the following list, they are to be considered allies to protecting the planet, or at the very least, just others trying to survive as they are. Then showed images of Milius Atea Psychobos and the regular incursion frog foot soldiers. After the whole speech thing, Ben says that he needs to take Albedo somewhere important, and Max nods, letting them go off, knowing Ben had some sort of plan in place that he was putting into motion in order to better deal with the armada, as he'd faced overwhelming odds before and knew how to handle them at this point. Questioning where they were going exactly, Ben explains that he's putting a secondary plan in motion. The frogs don't know that he's here, and that's a good thing. If anything happens to him, Albedo will be the only one with a working watch to combat them and keep the spirits up of the citizens to keep the rebellion going. Albedo starts to argue against this, but Ben locks him into a chamber, telling him that Gwen knows how to unlock it, and none of his current aliens could bust out of there. Hang tight until he's needed. The chamber was sorta like an underground living area, but Albedo was now stuck there until the door was opened by Gwen. Hearing the commotions going on, Ben hit the streets and changed into Astrodactyl and blasted one of the advanced ships with his jetpack, overloading the systems and making it crash down, as he then flew over, creating laser whips and began slashing through the outside of another ship, carving open the interior hull and cutting through important parts needed to work, making it lose control as he blasted it with his jetpack as well, making it fly towards the already downed ship. Ben was then blasted out of the sky by Atea using her ship's cannons to shoot him in the back as Rook appeared in the proto-truck, opening up the hatch and allowing him to fall inside, with him then changing back to human and sitting up, thanking his partner for the save, as the Ravonagander tells him that Magister Max Tennyson has ordered them back to the base to regroup. Atea starts shooting at Rook's ship, trying to blast him out of the sky, but Rook releases a smoke screen from the back of his transport, as he then flies into a tunnel that closes, a garage-like door behind them, and he changed his vehicle back to its street form so as to not draw attention to themselves and get away safely. We see that Max was saying that the only real hope they had was to mount an all-out assault on Emperor Milius's flagship. If they can cut off the communications from there, they might stand a chance of taking them by surprise and neutralizing them in the confusion and driving them away from Earth in the process. Though Ben points out they may be expecting that. He has a backup plan, but it's best that it remains out of their minds in case Psychobos tries anything while working with the frogs. However, each and every one of them plays an important role in it, and he needs their trust. The other plumbers began to whisper among themselves, and Hobble says that they're all with him. Nodding, he then tells them that they will be taking point and following up on Max's main strategy, and hopefully the secondary plan won't be needed. But if it is, their roles in it are to keep up the good fight and make sure that everyone on Earth not give in and surrender to Milius's fleet. Once everything was set, they had each gone off to their positions for what they had planned for Max's attempt to take down the Emperor, while Ben stayed back for a bit, saying that it was part of the plan and to trust him as the others went to fight. He waited patiently, knowing they were coming soon. The doors to the lab were blown off their hinge, and Atea looks around with Ben turning in their chair, telling her that she's late. He'd expected better from her. They all started fighting, and he'd used his staff to take down the other frogs quick, clearing a pathway and slammed down Psychobos' shell onto his brain as he was about to zap them, making him zap himself in the process, and drop down. Atea points her blaster at Ben, but he easily takes her down as well, telling her that he just needed the others out, while they had a little chat about some things, and she raised an eyebrow, ready to hear just what exactly he had in mind for this chat they were going to have together without anyone else able to hear them. The other plumbers managed to crash down the Emperor's ship, with Rook and Max walking out with Milius in cuffs, and Atea appears ready to fight, with the incursion ships all outnumbering the plumbers, with Ben telling Atea they had a deal. And Atea says they did, and now she has a better one. Surrender or die. Milius smiles as he encourages his daughter to make their enemies kneel at their feet, as he says that the new deal is Ben will leave Earth and never come back. He questions why exactly he'd do that, and Psychobos pushes a button on a remote control, making a bunch of feral mutated Toku stars drop from the ships. Milius tells Ben that if they see him anywhere near this system again, he'll have the mutant Toku stars destroy everything and everyone he's ever known and cared about. Taking a deep breath, Ben turns to the others and asks Max to tell Gwen to look after ship, and he'd left something in 87B, and apologize to her for him not being able to say goodbye in person. We see Ben in some sort of pod, with Atea locking the shackles around him, and tells him he should have joined up when they had the chance, and he responds that's not happening so long as Milius is running things. She then gets annoyed at him hearing that, and punches him in the gut while kicking something in with him. She tells her daddy when it goes, Ben goes out with a bang. Milius says that she may yet become quite a ruthless leader of their empire, and he's proud of the little add-on she's put on inside. Smiling, she thanked him before smacking the back of the pod, telling him it's all set, as they then launch Ben out into space, and we see an explosion of various colors.